What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Eddy Live podcast number 219. I am here with Tim Lin. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me here.
My pleasure. It's always a pleasure to have another podcaster because, first of all, they know how to use the microphone, which is great.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course. And I've been doing it for a little while, and I just love it. So I think slowly in Taiwan, starting to grow the podcast scene.
Right.
Yeah.
I
So,
think it's right after COVID.
yeah.
So everybody's still like trying to do like social media stuff.
Yeah.
Like this kind of new media and people. I think people trying to do podcasts because it was not like YouTube. You have to like manage all this kind of equipment.
Sure. Yeah.
It's easier, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, I think I started doing it, I don't know, 220 weeks ago. And it was because I've been watching Joe Rogan for a long time. And he always goes live. And I just thought, okay, I have to figure out, just do it live. And also restaurant owner. So you don't really, you just get busy, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's crazy.
But why don't you tell me a little bit about your podcast before we dive in?
So yeah, my podcast is quite different from the normal one because I think like every podcaster, they have certain theme topic on their channel. But for me, I want to bring different ideas throughout this process.
Beautiful.
So people can learn different things on my channel. And that's my main idea, to bring like different perspective from each guest I invited.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So before that, you were saying you went to school, you wanted to be a sports anchor.
Right.
And then something happened right at the beginning of that journey to make you stop to want that. And so what was the something that happened?
So I studied journalism throughout my college year. And because I like basketball a lot.
Yeah.
So I went to an internship with one of the biggest sports magazine called Hoop. And I went there, I saw like how anchor runs their job and how journalists run their job.
Yep.
And I started to think it's not the way I thought about like being a sports anchor anyway.
Okay.
So I went to like graduate school.
Okay.
In marketing.
Okay.
Degree. So
before you went in, you had an idea of like, okay, I mean, I love sports. I play soccer.
Right, I know.
My whole life. And I like to watch UFC. Right?
Oh, nice.
And so there's a few live events in Taiwan.
Right.
And so I actually get invited to do the English commentary there. And that's like a dream for me.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely harder than people will think. Right?
For sure.
So what did you imagine it being? And then what was it that just turned you off of the whole situation?
So when I was a kid, because I watched a lot of NBA games, so that's how I imagined to become a sports anchor in a certain way. But I found out it's not like you travel a lot, you watch every game, like you watch every live game. But in terms of the game itself, it's kind of, you have to adjust different things.
Okay.
When you do the like reporter job or anchor job, you have to write a lot of like reporters.
Okay.
And you have to adjust different kind of thing, not just being like watch the game and write the report.
It's not just fun.
Yeah, it's not just fun. You have to do a lot of routine text.
Okay.
So that's but for the routine text, it really like bothered me a lot. It's not like the things I wanted to do for a long time. So that's why I stopped to dream about being a sports anchor.
Okay, beautiful. So from that, you switched over to marketing, right?
Yeah.
And then you worked with a company, and you started a podcast with this company.
Right. A few years ago.
A few years ago, okay. Yeah. And then maybe tell me a little bit about, you started that podcast with the company, how long it went, and then what caused you to kind of go a separate way from that.
So
the old school.
It's kind of funny story, because I went there because they want somebody to do the marketing. They help the company to do like branding stuff. So I came up with the idea where we can actually use podcasts to let more people to know about this company.
Okay.
And so I invite different kind of people, because the company is more like a commercial wise company. They have this kind of government connection. They can help different kind of industry.
Okay.
So I invite different type of commercial like manager, like boss.
Okay.
They can share their story about certain industry. But turns out the company is too old school.
Okay. I read that when I was reading about you, and you were mentioning the old school kind of a corporation type thing. So when you say like the old school, what does that mean?
For example, there's one guest I really want to invite it during the time period, and she probably is one of the biggest podcaster in Taiwan. And she talk about sex. But for that certain category, it's not like old school can accept. So they stop my idea where they want me to like do like economy stuff. Like government stuff. So, but for me, it's very shame because she's one of the best podcasts in this industry. And I want to invite her, not just talk about sex. I want to
about her,
about how she see this industry and throughout this year, but they don't really want to invite her at the first place. So I start to think, because I have this skill, I have the knowledge doing podcasts, so why don't I just start my channel?
So did you start your channel before you left, or did you after? What did you have kind of two at the same time?
Yeah, it's kind of in between.
So how did you tell them like I'm going to start my own podcast, or how did that?
Not really, because I think it's my free time to do that. I don't really care about what they think about.
And then you left this company?
I left.
Okay. And then
so that girl will be my first guest.
Really?
Because I already reached her like a few times, and she already say, "Oh, okay, we can do that." So I invite her at the first place.
Amazing. And how did that one go? That was episode 1?
Yes, episode. It's not actually episode 1 because me and my partner, we do like few episode right before she came. So she's my the first guest.
Okay. And how did it go? That
pretty
sex, I would imagine, great, a good podcast.
We talk about like sex education in Asia and what she found during this like learning process where Asian parents see sex as a terrible thing. It's a common way to say that because Asian parents, they always think this kind of topic is hard to communicate with their kids. I think that there is that now. I think there's kind of an education in school, but not so much, right? It's kind of like a topic that nobody really talks about, right? And then when it comes up, everybody's like, oh, like the buhawis, talk about that, right? So I kind of get it, but it's also tough because it's something. I mean, somebody needs to talk about this with the kids, right? Because maybe not when they're 5, but eventually, maybe I don't know, junior high or whatever. The kids need to start to know, because for example, in like the West, people start to do sex and stuff like that pretty early, right? And there's a lot of like teenage pregnancies and stuff like that. And I know that I don't think that happens very often here, but you don't want it to. So it's a very interesting topic. That's why I want to invite her to talk about this kind of topic. That's
cool, man. Yeah. So what do you think about podcasts? I mean, in the last I don't know, 3, maybe 4, maybe 3.5 years, maybe 4 years, the podcast scene in Taiwan seems to be really growing, actually blowing up.
Right.
So what's your opinion on the whole podcast scene in Taiwan?
I think you could probably say it's connected to marketing, social media marketing in Taiwan. And I think the influencer marketing is quite important in Taiwan to this day. So if you're like singer, or if you're like a YouTuber and you start a podcast channel, it's way better than you start with nobody. That's my point of view.
Definitely. I think I've been doing it, for a while. It's growing. It's pretty good. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's growing slowly, but you can see if like a famous person starts one, it's like, hundreds of thousands of views right away.
Sure.
So Yeah, but it's tough. But I think that the podcast journey is first. I think you have to like it, right? You have to enjoy
for
it,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think that I've had a lot of people that are YouTubers and stuff that have started a podcast, and they think that okay, their YouTube channel is really big, and then so maybe they make 5-10 episodes, and then it's not as big as their YouTube channel, and then they just kind of give up.
Yeah, I think more about your personality.
Yeah.
It's how you like talk with people. It's very important.
So one of the things is when people talk about the podcast, and I do the podcast live, obviously on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So people will say, "Oh, do you consider yourself a YouTuber?" So what would you, if somebody, I've seen some of your stuff. So would you consider yourself as a YouTuber by doing podcasts on YouTube?
For me, it's hard. It's hard to say that because your main thing is doing podcast through this platform, right? But you just upload on YouTube. So I think YouTube is only like a platform you upload something, your content. So I don't consider that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a YouTuber. Yeah.
So if somebody asks you, okay, you have a podcast about perspective, right? So what how can you explain that? People say, well, what does that mean? A podcast about perspective?
It contains so many elements because from the name, my podcast name, like laissez faire, right? And Chinese is 白大象的盒子.
Okay.
So everybody told me why 白大象的盒子. That's the idea come from a really profound like quantum physics. I don't want to elaborate that,
no,
but
okay.
it tells us like people should use different kind of perspective to see things.
Okay.
Yeah, because people
step outside of your box a little bit.
Yeah, outside the frame, all kind of stuff. Okay. You have to see things differently because everybody always sees things like on the same thing, right? So they are comfortable with this kind of circumstance. So for me, I just wanted to bring different ideas throughout my channel. Like I invite different guests, and they have their own perspective to see things differently. Okay. So that's my main idea.
So what have you found to be like the more successful ways for a podcast? Like, you do one yourself, or you do one with your co-host all the time, or you have a different kind of guest. Like what do you think is the most sort of successful way that you've been able to do the podcast?
That's how I think depends what's successful.
Okay.
Define, like if you consider your traffic, it's that the more traffic you got, you more successful. Then my strategy is to invite as many as possible guests.
Okay.
So if they have a lot of traffic, then I can get some traffic from them.
Sure.
That's my strategy, because I don't want to spend too much money on pay advertising stuff, or pay some agency to help me to do the marketing.
Have you ever had to pay for a guest, or is everybody very happy to come
somebody on? Some guests I need to pay them. There's one.
Is it a high fee, or I have no idea?
I don't know if it's high, like $3,000.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
There's one actress. She made a really famous movie like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and I invited her because I really like the movie.
Okay.
So
3,000? That's okay.
I can get it because she's a actress.
Okay.
So that's why she needs some. Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I actually, because when we started this, we used to have it was like a half podcast, like a half food challenge, or like have some spicy wings and stuff, which was good. It was fun.
Yeah.
We stopped that because a lot of people are just scared they don't want to eat on the camera, and they're scared of the spice. So I thought, okay, well, actually the whole point was just a good conversation, right?
Right.
So I stopped that a while ago. But in the beginning, when we were starting with food, I actually invited like a big Taiwanese like a food person that eats a lot, like a Taiwanese food person,
like Da Wei Wang, right?
Yeah, something exactly. And I used to have an assistant, so I told my assistant, I'm like, okay, this person here, contact them, and then let's go from there.
Right.
And they wanted $80,000.
80,000.
80,000
for only one.
Yeah, just to do the podcast and to eat.
Episode.
Yeah, for one episode.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So when you
crazy.
tell me,
that's crazy, man.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, wow, okay. Yeah. So for me, like, when you said 3,000, I'm like, ooh, sign me up.
For me, I think I'm pretty lucky because I have some really big traffic, like famous people came to my show, and Beautiful. they don't charge anything.
Okay, I think it's great.
Yeah,
I think that's nice. Yeah.
I think I found this pattern where if you're like invited so like huge famous people, they don't charge you. They don't charge anything.
Okay.
But if you invite like very small people, they don't charge anything. But
in the middle,
they will charge you.
The middle people charge.
Yeah,
interesting.
That's my. I found this pattern.
That's weird. That's funny because I've had a lot of I'm connected with a lot of the foreign YouTubers, right? And I've had not all of them, but I've had a good percentage of them on, and you have like 1,000 subs or 2,000 or 5,000, and they have like 500,000, like almost 1 million. Some have 1 million.
Yeah.
And then I think, okay, these guys are not gonna even respond,
right?
But they respond right away, like, oh, actually, I saw this episode with this guy, and it was great, and I would love to come and do it. And I'm kind of waiting, like, well, do I have to pay? Or like, what's going on here?
Right.
And then they come here, and they're super friendly, super polite. I don't know about the Taiwanese YouTuber group, but most of the foreigner guys that I met have been fantastic. And there's not that many podcasting ones yet. So I would love to kind of connect as many podcasts together as possible, because if your podcast grows and then if mine grows, then everybody's just kind of grows. Right. As opposed to just one guy, is big and then everybody else, is not.
Right.
So I always think that if everyone kind of grows and everyone pushes it, then Taiwan becomes like a podcast island. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Sure. Yeah. But it's hard for like those Instagram influencers. They have to charge. They have to make money by charge you fee or all kind of stuff.
I understand that they have to make money because for me too. Even with I spend not a lot of time, but a good amount of time on this, like researching tools and researching how can I switch the camera angles and what's the best camera angle, and questions and microphones and headphones and all that stuff. So like for me, I grew this restaurant and it's been pretty good. It's been about 16 years. So I always I have to kind of like really push this and treat it like a business. Like I know it's going to grow and I love it and I enjoy it. I know it will grow into something, but I have to sometimes tell myself to take a step back, because sometimes I feel like I'm stepping over like dollars and then picking up pennies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because, I know. Yeah.
Because, if I spend, let's say 10,000 on new equipment, or if I, a guest or something like that.
Right.
But if I put 10,000 on a Facebook ad for an event at the restaurant's full.
Right.
So it's like,
for sure.
I always have to like juggle everything, right? So it's kind of crazy. Podcasting is crazy, man.
But your place is one of my dream places. You have your own business and you can do your podcast like from time to time. It's my dream place.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Well, we can do more. I actually, like I said, I used to have 2 restaurants.
Yeah.
And after we closed the other one before COVID, I thought I didn't have more free time, but I always wanted to do something like this. I think it's maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And I just wanted to, just got to do it. And it's hard to start one because it's not hard. It's hard, but it's easy to do it.
Right.
But to do it well, it's harder. But also you get people that, there's so many negative people. They're like, oh, man.
Why you do that?
At this time, Taiwan, there's no podcasts in Taiwan. Nobody cares. Nobody will listen. And does the world need another podcast? And nobody cares what you think.
Right.
And you're just a taco guy. It's just like, there's so much craziness.
I know.
But for me, I just, we just kept pushing. And you are coming up on 100. And I think most podcasts, maybe they don't even make 10, maybe 20. Episode 20. Yeah, they're gone. Right. Yeah, everyone thinks they're a millionaire by 10, but I mean, I'm at almost 220, and
it's crazy.
But I love it. I love it, man. So you got episode 100 coming up.
Yeah. So right now, this week will be 97.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Are you doing weekly?
I try my best to do weekly because that's the thing I want to share with you, because I think inviting guests is like the most difficult part to do that. Well, why can you do that like 2 years in a row?
I think for me, most of the guests that I meet are customers. They're connected to the restaurant somehow. Okay. And so I've been here. I mean, I know you're young. I've been here for about 20 years. Okay. And so from the beginning till now, you just meet so many people. Right. And then with the service industry, you meet so many people. And I'm very, very like an introverted person, very quiet. Right. But when I came here, I just thought, really have to push myself to get out of that, because if you're quiet and shy, it's fine, but this is hard to grow.
Yeah, especially when you open a restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. People want to talk to you, and people want to say, "Oh, how about you? You're my best friend." Right. And I want to take a picture, and I want to let's put on the Mexican hats and stuff, which is great. I enjoy it very much. And now I feel restaurants good. Restaurants is pretty stable. But yeah, this is something it's a passion. I love it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really hard, because for me, I have to like do my homework to Google some stuff when I invite people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that for me is the hardest part to do that, and especially I want to do like in a natural way. That I don't want it to do like old school broadcasting style. So that's the hardest part.
It's hard. It's hard to find your own way, right? Yeah, but eventually, I think you do it more and more, and then you get really comfortable. Right. And it's weird, because I've been on also other people's podcasts a lot. Right. And then even like some radio people, like ICRT and other people on the radio, and then I go and we do a nice podcast and have a great chat, and then I'm like, okay, next time you come to mine, and they're very quiet, they're too shy. I'm like, what? I came here, man. You gotta help me out, man. It's crazy. Yeah. So when you say no topic is my topic, right, for your podcast, so what maybe you can explain that a little bit.
Yeah, that's the other perspective I want to bring to people, because like I said, I don't want it to do like a old school broadcasting style. Yeah. So if somebody came to my show and they already know their story, their experience, so that means I don't have to, give them the outlines or this kind of stuff. So they can speak their story in a natural way. Yeah. And for me, I do my work, I do my job, so I know what kind of question I'm gonna ask. Yeah. So that's the better way for me to do like during the podcast.
So you kind of, I think it's similar to what I'm doing. So you do your homework and you get everything ready, and then you just kind of like, it's almost like poking. It's just like you just put this question here, and then you let the people talk, right?
Yeah, it's more like impromptu situation. I like this kind of conversation. It's more like interesting way to do that. It's more like good friends chatting.
Like natural, I think, right? Yeah. I feel like that too. I also feel like when you're doing the podcast, after you do the podcast, I feel like almost like some connection with the person, because you're talking for a long time, and you hear the story, and then I feel like usually when people come in, it's a bit like everyone's don't really know each other, kind of quiet, whatever. Me too. Okay. And then at the end, everybody's just like, hey, let's stay, let's have. And then sometimes you do 45 minutes or an hour, and then you turn it off, and then the guest stays here till like 3 a.m. talking, drinking beer. It's crazy.
Right. Because I went to this award ceremony like a few years ago, and because I was on the list.
Amazing.
But eventually they have this kind of election, and they finally choose certain like channel. But for me, the channel that was selected, it's more about like old school broadcasting. So for me, I think most Taiwanese people, their mindset, their knowledge is still like way back to the broadcasting style. So I think podcast is like it's not like 100% different, but I think the main thing about podcast is more like a natural way, the way I wanted to create.
I think it's good, because I mean I did listen to the radio growing up and stuff, but I also but no, I enjoy like again, I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan, right? So sometimes when I'm just I'm going to the gym, or I'm in the back cooking, I need to make dough or something, I will just put on some Joe Rogan, and I'm a big UFC fan.
Right.
So when he has like a UFC fighter that I like, I'm like, that's it. I'm gonna put it on and it's sometimes 2 or 3 hours, and and it's just I enjoy it. I love it.
Yeah. So I guess this kind of vibe came from the States. Mostly in the Western culture, right?
Yeah.
So I listened to this NBA podcast, like all the smoke. And there's one NBA player called JJ Redick, and he has his own podcast. And I think that kind of vibe is what I want to create. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have to look at ones that we like and be like, okay, I kind of want to do something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, let me pull up some pictures, man. And first of all, we got a comment. Audio's great, thank you. Okay, Jim H. Okay, let's do this. Jim H. Okay, 80K reminds me of YouTubers want free hotel stays or free food to grace you with their presence. Yeah, I was pretty shocked because I figured the max would be 30K. That's $1,000 US. I thought that would probably be the maximum.
Right.
But 80 is like, that's crazy. I was shocked. Crazy. Of course, we didn't have the person. We didn't. I'm like, no thanks. For 80,000, I can fill this place up for a month. Hey, everything on special for that's crazy.
Right.
So that's where I kind of have to juggle. Make sure the restaurant's full. I can feel like when I put more effort on the podcast, it's great, and on the podcast, it's getting better and better and better. But then I can feel the restaurant kind of like the sales are going down.
Right.
And then when I put the restaurant sales, and then I feel like I haven't improved anything on my podcast in a while. So it's kind of crazy to juggle.
Balance.
It's a balance. Yeah.
Right.
And then I'm married, and then I have a daughter.
Right.
And it's like, it's kind of crazy, man. It's a crazy life.
I know.
But the podcast is pleasure. I get to have a beer, and I get to just chat with people, and I get to play with these things. These are like my toys, and it's great, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, let me pull up some pictures here, man.
Yeah.
So you can tell me a little bit about what's going on behind them. That's the logo.
Yeah, tell
me a little bit about the logo. Yeah.
Yeah. So the bug it's come from, like I said, the quantum physics, the theory, and actually, if you translate like 白大象的盒子, it came from the English. There's one comedian, I don't remember his name, but he says that there's a white elephant in the living room, but nobody fucking talk about it.
Okay.
So that's
I've heard that.
So that's the main thing we want to share with people. Like,
I think that's great. I mean, and what it means is there's this topic, and everyone's ignoring it. It's ridiculous. Right. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So it needs to be, somebody needs to say something.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. What else we got behind the scenes?
Actually, I think this episode probably is my favorite one.
Oh, really? Okay, tell us about that.
And the guest is very famous. I don't know how to say in English, but I Google, like crosstalk comedian, like a very traditional Chinese talk show.
Okay.
Yeah. And he used to be like two host, like the main host, and but I think he has some drunk stuff. Like he got caught 4 times. So
really? Okay.
It's pretty bad. But I invite him to talk about like this kind of traditional Chinese comedian stuff.
And it's great.
I really like, because when I was young, I listened to their show, whatever, all the time. So it's kind of dream come true to invite him.
That's beautiful.
On my show. Yeah.
Do you have any dream people that you're like, yes, this is my guy? If I get this guy.
So if you ask me about 100 episode
100, dream 100.
I want to invite Jeremy Lin.
Jeremy Lin. All right. Hey, same last name. Let's go.
Yeah. But I reached him like few times, but.
Any response?
No? Yeah. Actually, he responds me, but during the season, because super busy. So
busy.
Yeah.
Keep trying, man. Keep pushing.
Yeah,
keep pushing.
I wish.
Beautiful. That's great. Yeah. There you go.
So this one, I went to a high school in Taoyuan, and I just give a speech where how and why start a podcast, and
how was the interaction? How was the interest level of the kids?
Actually, it's pretty interesting, because I think young people right now, they're more focused on different kind of social media, like TikTok or Instagram, or maybe like 小红书. I don't know how to say in English.
小红书.
I think it's from China, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't.
So I think podcast.
I've heard of it. I've heard somebody mention it recently. Yeah, but I can't remember. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, 小红书 is kind of popular among young people. And but I guess podcast audience is more like 25 to maybe 45.
Okay.
It's kind of.
All I know is when I talk to kind of younger generation, they're like, yes, Instagram, yes. Facebook is for old people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But for the restaurant, it's like, okay, you use Facebook, and then you can't market to a 15-year-old to come to come on, all you can drink, whatever, right?
Yeah,
it's a kid, right?
Yeah.
So
that's the like, I don't know. I don't see it's like generation gap, but it's just how you use the media.
And I think nowadays everybody, like my daughter, she doesn't watch TV. She just watches YouTube.
Okay.
And just watches she has a small like gaming channel because I have all this gear.
I saw that. Yeah.
And she loves it. She just that's the first time she played a video game, by herself. She was there and talking the whole time. And I'm like, why are you talking? She said, well, you're supposed to talk through the whole game. And I thought, wow, for me, I was just very quiet playing video games.
It's more like a commentator, right?
Yeah, commentate her own game. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Couple more pictures, man.
Oh, so this is the recent one.
Okay.
She is she's a porn star in Taiwan, and I think she's the first porn star who get into NTU, the best university in NTU, Taiwan. Yeah. Right. And for me, it's pretty interesting to invite her because NTU and porn star,
that's like almost opposite, right?
Yeah,
people would think,
but she kind of combine those two ideas together.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I started this episode with her, and she shared her story, her experience, how she became a porn star.
That's crazy, man. I love it. But
yeah.
You do all of them in Chinese, right? All, of course. Right?
Yeah, in Chinese. Yeah.
Okay. I've done some. It's a lot harder, but it's harder for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And so this one, he used to be a professional basketball coach in Taiwan. And he is a Canadian.
Oh, beautiful.
I think it's from Vancouver or Toronto.
Okay.
Yes, it's opposite direction.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I kind of forget.
That's okay.
Where he from, but actually we did a 4 episode with him, but because basically he was in Taichung.
Okay.
At the time period when he was coach. So
nice.
The final one will be in Taipei. So finally we can meet face to face and have a very good conversation with him.
Awesome.
And that's my first English.
Yeah, I was going to say this was Chinese. No, right? This have to be English.
Yeah, for sure. But
yeah.
It's hard for me to do it like the whole English because
of course,
99% of my audience they are not really understand. So I kind of translate in between, like maybe
it's hard to do a language, right? And it's hard to do the subtitles, and then it's hard because you're like my audience watches English, but then you also get Taiwanese people who want to kind of learn English, and then they want subtitles, and then I'm like, okay, but subtitling an hour is crazy.
Yes, it's crazy.
It's crazy, right?
Crazy,
so it's crazy. I have one more thing about that, but let's finish the pictures.
Yeah. So that's the
comedian.
That's the comedian. Yeah.
Beautiful. And actually the like the template that you're using with the setup there looks great, man.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Well, for me, the template, it bothered me all the time because sometimes I just wanted to change different style, but it's hard for me to find a perfect way to do that.
It's hard because I would change it every week, and then when you put it up there, and then it just does nothing matches, and then you're like, okay, that doesn't work. And then a YouTube thumbnail, same thing, right?
Yeah,
it's tough, man. It's a tough thing.
Yeah.
And then you watch about Mr. Beast is like you gotta have a hook and all that, and you're like, I need my hook, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Okay, so this is a singer-songwriter, and he used to like go to a show like, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago. It's a pretty famous TV show, and they have this kind of like normal people who wants to be a superstar. So they go to the show and see who is the winner, and they can have the like contract with the
like American
music.
Idol.
This kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So
they still have that, no? Or they stopped?
I think they have different kind of TV show.
Probably, yeah.
And I think he's one of the most talented singer-songwriter at that time, so I invite him to talk about his story.
Awesome, man. Last one.
So it's the dinner party with the Canadian coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, because he's I think he has I don't know, maybe final contract with the team. So that's his final year. So we have this kind of dinner party with him.
Okay. Yeah. I think sports is tough. It's tough here because I've known a lot of I coach soccer here for a long time.
Right.
And it's hard because I remember, like, I stopped a while ago because it's kind of crazy. Like, coaching here, sports is crazy. Like, the government and everybody will really push a sport if they feel, Taiwan has a chance, like taekwondo or something, or little league baseball, like they push that.
Yeah.
But the other sports, they don't get too much love. So when I coach soccer, I mean, I remember specifically this one week that I was coaching soccer, and I took my kids from Guangdu Guoshao. Right?
Okay.
We went and I took my guys there to a tournament, and all of the big teams, for some reason, most of them didn't go. So we won. Like, we were like 9-0. We smashed everybody, and it was great.
Yeah.
And we got gold medals, and everybody's super happy. And then the parents, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, you're the king. You're the king of the world." And you're going to be coaching national team, and everybody's just telling you all this like crazy, over the top, amazing stuff.
Right.
And then after that, I think 4 days later, my same team had we used to play 5-a-side, and then they had their first full field game, and I couldn't make it because I had to work or something.
Okay.
And so they went, and one of the dads who helped me, I said, "Okay, this is what you're gonna do, blah blah blah."
Right.
And then he went, and they lost like 11-0 or something. Right? They got destroyed.
Okay.
And then the moms and everybody, they just looking at me like, just shaking their head. They're like, "Man, maybe you should just teach English." I'm just like, what? The same people that last week said, you're the king of the world, they're just like, you should just do something else. So it's really crazy.
Yeah.
And I've known a lot of the soccer national, because I was pretty in the scene there. I know that the national team coaches, all the foreign ones from the last maybe 4 or 5 years. I know all those guys, and it's crazy. And they, I mean, that's the top level. And they said also, they win, and it's like, wow, you're the king, and then you lose, and it's just like, wow. But I think for professional sports, it's probably like that anyways.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of problem in Taiwan, especially in basketball field. Like, so much problems happens during these years.
I think as a marketing guy yourself, what do you think about the marketing for things like sports and stuff like that here for events in Taiwan? What's your opinion on kind of the marketing?
Yeah, it's a really huge topic, and I think sports in Taiwan, especially, I don't know other sports, but in terms of like basketball, like professional basketball game, right now it's kind of like chaos because, I don't know, maybe there's too many leagues right now.
That's bad.
Too many. I don't know, maybe
T1 and
SPL, too many unqualified players playing right now, and it's too many like problems right now. So it's hard for like people can see what kind of stuff we can actually focus. Yeah, for me it's really bad.
I don't watch much basketball, but even for me, I was excited when they're like, okay,
like merge.
All these guys are coming, and Dwight Howard, right? I'm like, oh, Dwight Howard's coming. Oh, and then Jeremy Lin's coming. And I thought, oh, great! I can't wait to go and watch the game where Dwight Howard plays Jeremy Lin. Like, no, separate leagues. No, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, maybe the two leagues can have like an all-star something. Like baseball, National League versus whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, because the team that loses, they're gonna lose face, and then the ego of the people that own the league and whatever. I'm like, really? It's really sad because the people here just want to watch a game and have a good time, and it's crazy. I
think the other thing is about like market scale in Taiwan is pretty small. So that's why, like Blackie. I don't know if you know Blackie Heron.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he has his like relationship with all these kind of high level people, so he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Like, but the market it's so small, so you cannot like beat them by your own power. Yeah, so that's why I think, because when I study like master in marketing, I always wanted to do sports marketing in Taiwan, like brand marketing or marketing events, all kind of stuff. But consider the markets wise, it's too small. You cannot find a very good pay job.
That's tough
in Taiwan.
That's tough. I think the pay is a problem in Taiwan. I think and then I also, like, as a restaurant owner, it's also hard to find staff, and then it's hard because people don't really tip in Taiwan, and which is fine, but it's hard because you can have somebody here, they're in university and they'll work here for their few years, and then when they graduate, if they're good, I will say, okay, I can give you like a really good salary, because you're great and you're trained, and you can even you run the place, but they would rather take like half the pay and go to like an office and just 9 to 5 and trailing chi stuff, and I'm like, what? It's just I don't know, it's crazy. It's a crazy, but it's not just here. I know that when I went back to Canada, it's the same thing. They had to bring a lot of people's now come from India. Apparently in Canada, there's lots of people from India coming in just to work, to fill the jobs that the Canadians don't want to do. You look at USA, sometimes people say, oh, the immigrants take our job or whatever, but these are the Mexicans that are going in there to do the job. People don't want to do it, right? So it's a crazy, that's a whole other topic, but it's crazy. It's crazy,
because I went to this sports marketing agency when I think it's my first year in graduate school. Man, it's crazy because I went to Pingdong, and I have to lead a like basketball, like I think
like a camp.
Basketball camp. That's like U12, like under 12 basketball team. And they're gonna spend there like a whole month. So I spend there, like I work during the summer vacation, and I worked from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Oh wow! Okay.
I even have to take care of their, like, when they're taking shower.
Oh wow!
So man, I can imagine if I go there like after my that full-time job, it's gonna be crazy.
I've also found, like, when I came here, and I was coaching, but I taught kindergarten and English and stuff like that, which is great. I love it. The salary was pretty good. I thought it was decent, but the management system is kind of not so good, and the management is always power trip on you, and they're telling you have to do this, you have to do this. And I remember there was a couple of these little girls that, 5 or 6 years old. When they get bored, they put up their hand and say, teacher, can I go to the bathroom? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I'm not going to say no. You're 5 years old, right? Of course. And then I would get in trouble from the management. They'd be like, oh, you let her go to the bathroom too much. She's fooling around in the bathroom. And I'm like, well, she's 5. So who cares? Right. But that's, it's very different here. They would say, oh no, you have to next time you make sure you go with her and you make sure she goes to the bathroom so she's not lying. And I said, there's no way I'm going into a little girl's bathroom. Are you nuts? Do you realize what you're saying here? That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Like, there's no way I'm going anywhere near the little girl's bathroom. That's crazy.
For sure.
It's crazy. And for them to be like, just to think they want me to do that because I want to make sure that they're not just lying.
Right.
Such a stupid small thing compared to the huge issue of me going into the girls' bathroom. I'm like, you need to think sometimes. That's crazy.
Do you think is Taiwanese company, like, is culture stuff, or? Yeah,
no, for sure. I know a lot of people that I worked at a lot of different companies here. I taught at a lot of places, and some of them were okay, and some of them were just like, oh, man. That could be anywhere. But I remember after my first year, I went home for a month, and it came to payday, and I went in Canada, and I'm just there, and I'm telling, we're gonna go out for dinner. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pay. I'm gonna wait till the pay goes into my bank account. I'm waiting, and didn't get nothing. So I message and I call. I'm like, hey, what's going on? They're like, yeah, we're gonna put it in. And then nothing. So my month is over. I come back, back to my same school, my same job. And I said, hey, you guys didn't pay me. They're like, oh, okay, here's the cash. And I'm like, if I didn't come back, you weren't going to give me my last month, right? They're like, no. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
I think I have the same situation. Like a few years ago, they forget to pay me.
No.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
The salary part, it's one of the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, and it's not as if
I'm not doing like volunteer.
My job. Yeah, it's not like I'm not doing my job. I mean, I remember the first school I taught at. Like I was finishing my 2 years contract. I loved it, and I loved the kids because I really like kids.
Yeah.
And the owner, the manager, didn't like that I was kind of doing my own thing, but the kids spoke. They were 5 or 6. They spoke perfect English.
Oh, okay.
Like native speaker.
Wow.
Like mine.
Wow.
Because I spent 2 years with 6 kids.
Wow.
Perfect,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, she would just, well, you didn't follow this rule. You didn't follow that rule. And I thought, yeah, but the kids are perfect. They have personality is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, they can communicate. Their English is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people want, right?
Right.
And then, so the manager told the owner that I didn't listen and I was really bad and I was bad to kids, blah, blah, blah. And so the manager, so I'm here and, you know, the manager takes me to this coffee shop with the owner and there's the schools here and the elementary schools here and all the kids are walking by.
Yeah.
And everybody that walks by, all the kids are like, oh, teacher, hey, teacher, hello, teacher. They come in and they're like, oh, hello, teacher. And they're speaking great English, like my guys, right?
Yeah.
And the owner is saying, well, the manager says the kids don't like you. You cannot see.
Yeah, it's too
all
obvious.
of these kids are in love with me.
Right.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, well, you know, this is a very popular and sought after job. So, you know, you need to start listening. And I'm like, okay. And I had like 3 months left. And I said, okay, you know what? No problem.
Okay.
And then I just finished my 3 months. And then, you know, the owner came up to to re-sign the contract. And he puts his arm around me like, hey, buddy, will you sign 1 more year? I'm like, no, thanks. And then he's like, well, why not? I said, no problem. You said that, you know, there's a line of people that want this job. So, you know, you're going to find somebody else. No problem. And then they're just like, whoa, come on, man. I'm an honest guy and just, I like kids. So I taught kindergarten. I love it. It was great.
How many years you spent there?
At that school, I was 2.5 years. No, 2.5 years. Yeah. Because I went for half and then they re-signed the 2 years, but they started it like after. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But great. I spent with the same kids, like 6 kids for 2.5 years. So the English was amazing. And I had 0 Chinese. So we had to just always speak English. Okay. So these kids were perfect. And those kids are like still on my Facebook now. They're like 25.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
yeah,
right? And everybody's still like, we're not close, but they still like, you know, say comments and say hello. Still, and I'm like, that's crazy that school didn't see that. You know, just because the owner, the manager was just a power trip lady. And
it's
crazy.
It's hard to
crazy.
You have the connection with the kids, and it's a very beautiful story.
It was hard when I left, man. I was like crying because I'm like, I really like these kids, but the owner's treating me crap. Yeah.
So how do you learn your Chinese by yourself?
I learned it mostly by myself.
Wow.
Yeah, because I've been here for a long time, man.
Right.
I've been here for 20 years. So it, you know, it's not bad, but I want to go and I need to add more vocabulary. But yeah,
what's the hardest part to? You know?
I don't know. I think it's not that hard now because I've been here for a long time.
Right.
But hard thing for me is to add more vocabulary,
like more profound meaning, or
like I can have a conversation with anybody about anything, but if I don't know that word, I have to like go around and use like 10 words.
Right.
Or if I just knew the one
more
word, I could just say,
more precisely
is my problem. Yeah. Because I can get my point across and I can, you know, use my words, but if I can get more vocabulary, then that'll be good, man.
Yeah.
That's my goal. Maybe next year. Do you have any like challenges that you had with your podcast? Like, is there anything where you're like, you know, I can't, any issues come up where you're thinking, maybe I should stop? Because we all kind of have that sometimes.
Right. Maybe because I was trying to do my best to you know, like for like every week. Yeah. To upload my episode, but
love it.
It's sometimes it's hard to invite people like they can, you know, come to your show like on time. So that's maybe the hardest part for me to do. Yeah. Like very, very like on time episode.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough when you're interviewing somebody
Right.
and then they don't show up. Like, oh my god, that happened to me twice, and then
really,
but that's not bad for so many years. But and then I interviewed my daughter, and then I interviewed my wife. I was like, hey, come here. And we got to talk about running a business in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Come on, you know.
But I don't have backup.
Yeah, that was my backup. So it's been a while. So
Yeah.
now it's been a couple of years since I've interviewed them. So now it's I can probably do that again if I have to. But yeah. So last question. What are the future plans or goals for your podcast? Maybe let's say next 5 years. What would be the ideal situation for your podcast?
Oh, it's a very good question, because I think maybe 2025 I will go Canada.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I apply a school for it's called co-op program.
Okay. Why Canada? Why Canada? I'm curious.
I think the main thing is the money part.
The money's
cheaper.
better.
Yeah, it's cheaper. No, I mean the fee, the
school
fee.
Oh, compared to US.
Yeah,
for
sure.
US, forget it.
Because my brother, he went to USC for master degree.
You guys are smart. Okay. Okay.
Man, the fee is crazy high. It's crazy.
I remember when I was in high school, maybe grade 10 science.
Yeah.
My teacher, I think he was probably my age now, maybe a little bit younger, maybe like 40,
okay.
41, 42. And he said, hey, great day. Today's a fantastic day today. And he was in a really good mood. And we was like, well, what's going on?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
He's an American guy.
Okay.
And we're just like, what's going on? What happened? And
Yeah.
he said, I finally paid off my student loan.
Wow.
And everybody's like, I mean, you're like 16, you don't know what that means,
Right,
and you don't
right.
care, but you're just like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
just paid off my last payment for my student loan.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? Because he went, again, in the US, he just pay for half his life is for school. It's
Right.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
And he's from the States.
And he's from the States, and he moved to my little small town
it's
in
cheaper
Canada.
than a foreigner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So Canada, it's so the money part is
Vancouver or
Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah, so
the cool thing about Vancouver is there's a lot of Asian people there, all kinds of Asian people.
Yeah.
So the last time we went, a friend of mine recommended me to check out like a supermarket called T&T supermarket. And we went in, and it's huge. It's just like it's like a Jalafu, like a massive place, and there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And we went in, and it's just like, here's the Taiwanese section, here's the Thai section, here's the Vietnamese section, here's the China section, and it's just like boom, 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 and inside all Asian people, Korean section, and Thai. It's like wow. It was crazy. And we went in, and a lot of the stuff we brought food-wise as gifts, it was already there. Like, oh no, it's crazy. Yeah. So Vancouver is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Cool place.
So I'm thinking to
don't
go.
bring food. It's all there. Already.
To go there at least 1 year.
Okay.
The program is like heavier, like study, like all this kind of material.
So would you keep the podcast going?
Yeah, that's
maybe English version.
Yeah,
or another cool thing, if you want to keep it Chinese. You could find Taiwanese people that are in Vancouver,
right?
Because Taiwanese people, whenever I meet Taiwanese people and they talk about, they mention Canada. Oh, Canada! I was like, oh, they know somebody in Vancouver. They always know somebody.
They have friends.
There's a lot. There. Their son or their uncle or somebody's in Vancouver. So lots of Taiwanese. So that could be good too.
Right. And on the other hand, I want to improve my English. Speaking.
I'll introduce you to a couple of guys that I know, like one guy, Josh. He's got a good podcast, English podcast. Yeah. So I think if we can, all the podcasts can kind of connect. There's a big group on Facebook. It's pretty active, but it's mostly in Chinese. So I have to translate everything, and then when I type, I have to translate it back.
Right.
It's pretty active group, and I told the group, I said, we really need to have like a happy hour, just a happy hour. Everybody gets together.
Community,
I mean, you could come here, and we'll put like cheap price for drinks, whatever. I'm not trying to make money off the group.
Yeah,
we can come here,
right,
and everyone can just be like, boom, there's a 50 people,
right,
just unlimited guests, forever, which is great.
You're sharing the story.
Sometimes hard to find guests.
Because for me, I don't have a chance to go like outside of Taiwan. So that's my my chance to go, opportunity to go Canada.
Do it. You should take it. Always take it, man.
Yeah,
dude. Time flies, man. I had a good time. It's just it just goes quick. But that means it was fun, and we can do it again. But before we call it, man, do you have anything that you want to add? Maybe somebody that they're looking, maybe they want to start a podcast, maybe they want to do something kind of like what you're doing. I mean, set this camera in there and just you tell them what you think.
Yeah, man, I gotta tell you, this is my dream place. Because for me, doing the podcast, the camera equipment is the hardest part.
It's hard.
For sure. Yeah. Because you have 3.
Doable. It's doable, man. I mean, it when I went back to Canada, people always say, "Oh my gosh, you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this." But for me, doing all of it is normal. So if you do all this stuff and it becomes normal, then it's normal, man.
Yeah, because if somebody doesn't have the experience on doing the podcast, they always think, "Oh, it's quite difficult."
For sure.
Yeah. But for me, I doing the podcast for 2 years, almost 2 years.
I love that.
Yeah. So for me, I can continue to do that, and maybe level up my equipment.
Okay.
In the future will be better.
Any advice for somebody who wants to start a podcast?
Then just do it.
Okay.
Just do it. Like if you like stay your comfort zone and not just trying everything, you have to discover new things in your life. And
agree.
I have to tell you, like, because when I was a kid, I learned a lot of things, like classical music. I can play piano or English. So that makes me I can have so many like different kind of people to our show.
Beautiful.
So that's maybe that's the very coincidence chance for me to do that.
It's good to be able to use the skills, right?
Right.
Like I said, I love watching UFC, and then, for example, they have big events here and all the commentaries in Chinese. I'm like, why there's no English? And they're just like, oh, we can. I'm like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the first time I definitely wasn't very good, but you get better and better. And then it becomes fun. And you're like, yeah, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Coach soccer. I do, I never think the cooking with my mom would, mean anything.
Yeah.
It meant to me personally, but I didn't think I would do something with it. Yes, and coaching soccer, I just did it for fun before, and now I did it as a job here, and then just speaking English. All of a sudden, you come here and everyone's like, "Wow, I want to learn English," and you're like, "Well, it's the little skills that you don't think are valuable," and then you go somewhere else, and like when you go back to Vancouver, you're gonna be same thing as when I come here. People go, "Wow, you can teach me Chinese." Right? People want to learn. People want to learn. Yeah.
I think most people they're afraid to try things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and because I invite this like famous people, they ask me, did you pay them? And why can you invite him in the first place? But for me, I just try to connect with all these famous people, and somehow they say, oh, okay, I can come to your show. And for me, it's
beautiful.
Yeah, it's my experience.
The worst thing that can happen is they're gonna say, oh, no.
Yeah.
So that
I don't lose. I don't lose anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right on, brother. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
I will give you the link. I have the link for your podcast in the description. I also have the link for your IG and all that stuff. If anybody wants to check out your podcast. This is the man right here.
Yeah, thank you.
Brother, appreciate it so much. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
You got to connect all the podcasters in Taiwan and then grow a podcast island, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect, man. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank
you. And
you.
we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.